Hello everybody, my name's Outlay. Welcome back to my SnowRunner hard mode series. In the Yukon map at the minute, and I am just redeploying the Paystar from Michigan where I've been on a fuel run. And I've deployed it to the Big Salmon Peak garage. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so daylight's wasting. So I've done a fuel run to Michigan. The Paystar is full. I've decided to deploy here in Big Salmon Peak rather than Flooded Foothills because, well, partly it's I've still got logging and stuff to do. I'll be in Big Salmon Peak for a bit, but mostly because it's the closest garage to the end of Flooded Foothills that I'm working at. If I deployed this at the Flooded Foothills garage, I'd have to move a fair bit of distance to get the fuel where I want it, whereas here I can shovel some fuel over into the Kodiak, which I'll do right now. And then I didn't show the driving of the Paystar down through Michigan, but I thought I would show me putting the Kodiak back into Flooded Foothills. Because it's actually quite a fun little truck to drive. So I haven't got all-wheel drive or diff lock enabled at the minute. They're installed, but I haven't activated them. And for a little truck like this, it does pretty well. So we're going to get this into Flooded Foothills, pretty much park it up where it was before, so that I can access it in the Tatra Force, and then we're going to jump into the Force and get on with some contract work. Activated all-wheel drive and diff lock then, and it took off no problem. Deactivate them both. Into Flooded Foothills. I don't even know if that'll be the last fuel run that I have to do. It hit my cash reserves quite hard. I think my cash reserves are down in, there you go, $54,000. I've still got the 2 forklifts that I haven't sold, the telehandler forklifts. And I do intend selling them, so that's not too bad. And we're going to get this, and again, I'm not going to put all-wheel drive on until the truck tells me it needs it. I'm going to put the lights on because it is coming into dark. And I'm going to avoid these sticky, horrible, worst of the mess. Not going through that big puddle. Come this way. I'm not sure if that's wet mud or not. It looks like it might be a little bit. Oh, okay, I thought that might have been a bit of wet mud. Obviously not. Weave my way between these two. Oh, that's a steeper bank than it looked. So what happens with the shifter is my normal go-to position, which would be on a H-box, what we would know as, what any experienced driver would know as first gear, is in first position, and that's high-low. When you haven't got an off-road gearbox installed, high-low just leaves you in reverse. Or sorry, gear position 1 just leaves you in reverse. But anyway, I think you would probably agree, for a little four-wheeler, without me activating all-wheel drive, since the gateway, that did alright, didn't it? That's quite a capable little truck, this one. I don't know about messing around pulling trailers and things with it, but yeah, not bad at all. Right, so anyway, point is, we've now got a pretty full fuel bunker parked in a convenient location in flooded foothills. And now I will jump into the Force. And what I was going to do, so the contract I have active is the wrong one. I want the old mine, gold mine. Need metal beams, wooden planks, small pipes, and concrete block. And the Force is where I left it at the end of the last episode, where I delivered the abandoned truck. I'm going to backtrack a little bit and grab these 2 wooden planks. The Force hasn't got a trailer on at the minute, so 2 slots of wooden planks, and then we're going to go up to the gold mine. Deliver the wooden planks, grab the trailer, come back down to the warehouse, grab some metal beams, probably divert and get some fuel, and then go back up again. And we're going to try and continue the reinvigorating the gold mines, but I'm just going to grab these wooden planks that are relatively near to me now. So I want to backtrack and come to here, basically. So turn the camera around. Try and do it without knocking over his house. And this is the wooden planks location that I was trying to get to by crossing the stream when I took a ill-advised detour in the last episode past over the top of the cliff. You can see on my left. Stop tracking it. I know what it is I want. I know where I need to take it, so let's just not bother with that. The whole screen full of 20 nearest or whatever that was. Places that you could pick up a cargo. Get these 2 wooden planks loaded up. Loading platform. First one. The house gone. Restore the crane. Cargo. Turn around. Get back up. And I am going to use the same route up to the gold mine that I've been using from the cabin zone side. I'm not going to drive all the way around. I think the most direct route that I know is up the same way that I've been going with cabins. Maybe a route through those trees, but not worth it. Need some winch help. That's a nasty bit of mud. Take it, that's the house I was just at. That would have been a bit of a shortcut through the trees. Lights on. Up to the gold mine. So this week I missed my Wednesday publishing schedule. So the video that's gone live Friday that you guys have seen. Hopefully by now. Should have gone live Wednesday. Let's just make it easy, come down here. So I could go over that hill, but I don't think I need to. Yeah, so I missed my publishing schedule for Wednesday. Apologies for that. There was no video at all on Wednesday, so this week we've missed a video. I went out on Tuesday evening for some work, colleagues, social event, and what was going to be a relatively quiet evening turned into a bit of a session, and I was in no state to come home and edit videos. I thought I might only be out for an hour or two, but I ended up out for a long time. Let's focus on the driving. I don't know what I'm doing here. Driving like an idiot. Don't know where it is that I'm aiming to go, that's the trouble. Because it's so dark. I don't remember getting anywhere near bogged down like this. I don't know the line that I used to come back through from the other side. I thought it was here somewhere. It kind of looks safe, doesn't it? Get my toes a bit damp. There we go. Now I know where I am. I'm just got to get where I want to be. Which is here. No trailer on, so this should be easier. Still going to stick it into low with my diff lock on though. Take a safety line. Silly not to when it's available. There's the twin steer coming into view. Zix will be just around the corner where I left them, and I haven't really got enough fuel in the Zix to do much about that situation just now. I don't know that I want to spare. All I got to do with the Force is get back to the fuel bunker that we just parked at the bottom of the hill. So let's have a quick look. Engine off. So I've got a full roof rack. And a decent amount in my truck. Should I chance it? No. I don't really want to chance it. I think I need to. I'm gonna. Given that last episode was a little bit carnage, I want to get some cargo shifted today. So I don't want to put at risk of then needing fuel recovery. At some point in one of the near future episodes, I am going to chuck some fuel in that Zix. because I do want it to play a further role on this map. Right. For whatever reason, this delivery point doesn't need the contract to be active. It's a pretty horrible sticky mess. No winch points in any direction. So that literally just sat there spinning in all drive was on, diff lock was on. Just sat there with these tyres. So I would say that this is mud that's too deep to hit any dirt underneath it. Did I say about wanting a nice smooth ride? Not wanting to mess around with anything that might interrupt my cargo flow? Twin steer's on its own for a little bit. 6 has a job. So many rocks here, even the Zik struggles. I'm pretty sure it has got 50 litres of fuel left in its fuel add-on, if I remember rightly. So it's got a kind of emergency reserve if it needs it. This makes sense anyway, because it does mean that in the frequent trips up and down that I'll be doing with the Force, I can put a dribble of fuel into the Ziks each time I come up, until eventually it's got enough to go off and do stuff, including rescuing the twin steer. And I was having to think about, people have mentioned this to me before and I haven't done it for whatever reason, or because it's not a truck that I am emotionally invested in, but the twin steer runs a lot better with, it's got an option for dual rear tyres that would give it some decent stability improvement. So you, mister, can stop messing about. I'll do. And then the Force can now be self-sufficient. So refuel, I do have some, I think. Yeah, my spare wheel's still got 40 litres in it. Stick that in. Yeah. Change trucks. Back to the Force. Now I've got to turn the trailer around and get out of here. Just abuse this trailer until it's on its wheels pointing in the right direction. Then hook it up. It'll right itself eventually. Thought it would have righted itself by now, really. There we go. Trailer's on. I think what I'll do is, what is my fuel like now? I've still got my full roof rack. So I think I'll run into the warehouse first. Pick up 3 metal beams. And then loop around to the Kodiak. Fill up with fuel. And come up the route that I've been using with this truck and trailer. which I find perfectly fine as a route. It's not bad at all. Be a little bit careful on my suspension, because in the last episode I took a big chunk out of it right after paying £5 to fully repair the truck, the force in the garage. I then drove onto a medium pipe prop in a yard and blew a chunk out of my suspension, which not the best move I've done. I didn't think about it. What I should have done when I was at the garage doing that repair on this is put the muds back on it, just for my own personal comparison benefit. I'm relatively happy with how these are performing. So there's a meta for snow, and there's a meta for dirt, and there's a meta for rock, there's a meta for ice, and there isn't any one tire that's good at all of those. So it's based on your judgment as a driver of, for the routes that you're likely to be driving, which of those surfaces is most likely to cause you a problem. And at the moment, I'm going to say that I think mud tyres would be better for this snowy work. But there are certainly bits that I've just been through up the top where the dirt rating of these tyres helped. And so far today I haven't needed chains. But yeah, it would be, the only way really for me to judge is to try both in this similar enough scenario to be a worthwhile test. There's some wooden planks up there. We're going to go and get them at some point in the future, but for the minute I just want to come into this warehouse and get some metal beams. Trailer can stay there. And we'll load up 3 lots of metal beams. Need blocks as well, but I'll do them as a separate trip. So loading platform, 3 cargo left. First one. Just coming into a bit of daylight, that's most welcome. Last one from this warehouse as well. Install crane, pack, unpack. Let's get the trailer on. And then pack all 6 slots, 3 units of metal beams. Get these back. So we're going to basically what we're going to do now is come out here, follow the trail. I couldn't see the Kodiak getting in the trees. Follow the trail down to here, past the Kodiak, and then up there for the delivery. And I had a comment that maybe just going around the road is easier, but I find this route alright up through here. In this direction, it's a bit more gnarly coming directly from the warehouse up and around these rocks and up through there. That's not so nice. But when you're coming from the railway side, or if you're, in my case, coming from where this fuel is, I find it alright going up through there. And I wanted that fuel here because I'm going to be going into the railway for the next collection, which may not be in this episode, but we'll see. So cargo's packed. Get some fuel, get up a hill. Take the trailer a little bit wider to get over that lit. Thought it was coming into daylight a little while ago, but daylight's being stubborn. Lights don't seem to be very effective in this. It's that misty fog morning, so visibility is not great for me or you, unfortunately. Oh, that was quite steep, wasn't it? No. I followed some tyre tracks, but then I realised as I was already overcommitted to that hill that those tyre tracks were from my Kodiak, doing something that you might not want to do with this trailer on, but I'm kind of committed now. Yeah, that's not really where I want to be, but I can't really back this trailer out, so I'm gonna have to try and cope with it. I'm going to take that one to that big old tree there. Then I'm going to try and turn a hard left. And then manoeuvre my way in that gap that the Kodiak took. But yeah, that wasn't... Following tyre tracks is alright if you think that they're good tyre tracks, but not when it's you in a Kodiak. Would have been safer for me to go through the puddle, basically, with this cargo. Well, all's well that ends well. Let's get some fuel. Turn my engine off. Refuel. So I kept my reef rack after all of that, so I could have I kept my reef rack. I could have put that reef rack in the Zix and it wouldn't have hurt because I managed without it. But anyway, didn't know that, did I? So change truck, refuel, Kodiak and force. Now pull up, change back, and then the force has got to get up this hill. Very, very carefully reversing when I got that trailer on because I don't want to spill the cargo. Change track, didn't I? So I have to put my lights back on. Not that they're doing much good in this slightly hazy morning. Need the sun to get a bit higher and reach past these trees, but we're on the dark side of the mountain, so even though it's probably, well, what time is it? It is 9 in the morning. We're in the shade of the mountain. And it feels like I'm back on track now because I've got fuel, I've got my trailer, and I've got my currently preferred 6-slot cargo setup. Force with a big crane. Friday asked an interesting question on a recent video. Now that I've got most of the trucks in the game, obviously I haven't got the Take a B on this save yet, and I've done nothing with it on my normal save to be able to make an opinion really. But now that I've got most of the sort of end game trucks, if there was a new game plus start type of scenario where you had to complete the game with just one vehicle, what would you choose? That was quite interesting, I thought. It was a good question. Thank you, Friday. So my answer was this Force, right? Cutting to the chase. My response was yeah. But you got to make some assumptions. If that, and that isn't a new game plus option, by the way, being limited to one truck. There are all kinds of things that you can restrict yourself to not having access to the store and only therefore being able to use the trucks that are found on the maps, and this is one of them. But there isn't an option to say only one vehicle and it's the only one you're allowed to use. But the most obvious answer, I think, is probably the S05E31, because it's the most versatile truck. But if there was such a game mode, you would have to assume that all of the trucks would be modified to be able to take all of the add-ons, right? Because if there was an option to say, right, you've only got one vehicle, go on, then you need to be able to do all the types of logs, short, medium and long. You need to do high saddle and low saddle. You need to be able to do the seismic. You need to be able to do the metal detector. All of the options need to be available to you if on that one truck, otherwise there'll be contracts you can't deliver. And there may even be some scout stuff that you wouldn't be able to do. So maybe we'll relax it and say one scout and one big truck. Now the Azov is the obvious choice, really, because at the moment it's the most versatile of the big trucks. S05E31, in my opinion. But this one, if it had low saddle and all of the logging options, I think would take over as the most versatile. And it's partly that big crane, to me, makes a world of difference. The little blue cranes are rubbish. This big crane, I've been spoilt by it. It's one of the reasons I like this truck so much, is that I've got a decent crane. And obviously, you know, I'm assuming that such a game mode would also include doing... That crawled all the way up Baron High, by the way. Good truck. It would also include, I would want to crane load, not auto load. So it's kind of a hard mode plus, isn't it? But I think you would need to be able to do all of the add-ons on one vehicle. And I think if you could do that with, if this vehicle could take the same add-ons as the Azov, I don't think there'd be any competition, because it hasn't got the chin to catch you out on terrain. It's got a pretty good ground clearance, and it's got a far superior crane. So that's my big truck choice. And then again, assuming that there were changes made to make it possible to only use one scout, I would undoubtedly take the Tatarin if it was able to connect to scout trailers and if it was able to put chains on. If it wasn't able to do chains, then I'd take the Ford F750. And it's a bit of a close toss-up between them, but I think if you put chains on that Tatarin, it would be unbeatable. You just wouldn't take it anywhere that it might have to drown. You'd have to use this truck for it. But yeah, so if I could only have two vehicles, and if those conditions were met that they could be modded to use whichever add-ons they needed to complete contracts, it would be the Force and the Tatarin would be my preferred choice. What do you guys think? What would you take if you only had two? And I'm modifying Friday's question now because this isn't what he asked, but one scout, one truck. What would you take? Cargo, 3 metal beams. 1, 2, 3. 3 more needed. So I need 6 blocks. Let's forget the small pipes for a minute, because I think, did I find I could get them from the railway station? There was a place I found them, and it had 2. It might be the warehouse over by the garage, but anyway, there was a place that had 2. I need 2. I'll worry about whether that's the best place to get them later. But I need 6 wooden planks, 6 concrete blocks. They're all 1 slot cargoes. So basically that's 2 trips if I was able to find the resources. Let's have a look. So there are 2 concrete blocks in here. That's 2 slots. There's obviously wooden framing very close by, so I'd be silly not to do that. So that's 4 slots. And there's also 2 slots of wood in the crafting zone, where I don't need to craft any more cabins. So I think that's 6 slots of cargo that's worth me picking up. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go down to the cabin, get those 2, and then come back to the warehouse, pick up 2 more wooden planks. I'll put some fuel in the Zix while I'm here. A little bit worried about the time of the episode. So I might collect the cargo, but I may not get to deliver it, because there's only so much time lapsing that I want to do in one episode. I wouldn't mind reducing it a little bit, to be honest. .15 turn with this trailer on. So we'll stick some fuel back in the Zix. Probably empty out my roof rack into it. And then we'll get down, fill up again from the Kodiak. Yeah, all of the roof rack. And half of my main tank. That puts a decent amount in the Zix. And I've got enough to get to the fuel trailer. So I'm running empty down to where the fuel trailer is. Leave the red trailer there. Go around with the force on its own to pick up the 2 wooden planks that are in the construction zone. Come back to the Kodiak, pick up a trailer, refuel, and go to the warehouse and get 2 concrete blocks. And then go to the house and get some wooden framing. Making some good progress if I manage to get that done. So another thing that I am... Oh, here we go. What am I like? I can't make my mind up right. The pendulum of indecision. And I am a nightmare, I guess. I'm one of those people that if I go out to a restaurant and I've got to look at a menu, I can look at the menu for 20 minutes, but I won't decide what I'm actually going to have until the waitress is standing there tapping her foot and waiting for me to order. Indecision. I can't make my mind up, right? But I am... The pendulum of indecision at the moment is swinging fairly heavily back in the direction of going to Wisconsin next and following the release order of the phases, and not going as a sort of detour via phase 8 when it's released. And that is mostly that the other character flaw or feature, depending on your point of view, in my opinion. My OCD is already giving me some grief over doing things in the wrong order. And special expeditions don't count, right? And one of the reasons I haven't gone to Maine as a special expedition is that it would be such a big undertaking that it's almost not a special expedition. It's almost going in the wrong order problem. So yeah, at the moment, I am leaning quite heavily in the direction of I will just go to Wisconsin and follow the release order of the phases and get to phase 7 and 8 when the time is appropriate. In the order that you guys would have done them if you'd have played this game since release. And that does also mean that obviously by then, by the time I go to phase 8, I would have to take a B, because I would have got it in the natural sequence of things. Detach that trailer. Scoot round to the construction zone. Get those 2 wooden planks. So yeah, if anybody was kind of keen to see some phase 8 gameplay, sorry, but I'm probably not going to do that. And I say probably because, you know, the pendulum, it can swing both ways. Until I actually start a map, who knows what I'll decide in the long run. Full train, back cargo, get out of here. Turn my camera around so I can see. I do wish this camera would pan out a bit more sometimes. So that twin steer, I need to get it back on its wheels, but from where it is, given it's got no cargo to carry, what route do I use to get it out? I'm tempted to bring it back up the top and take it back into Big Salmon Peak to garage it there. Rather, I think driving it out sort of down the hill from where it is, more work than ever. Actually tried, I forgot what it was I was trying to do then. Engine off. And this time I want to change truck and refuel from here. I should have filled up. That's alright. Change truck. Refuel. I can fill the trunk supplies out of the Kodiak, and the Kodiak then can refuel itself next time I come past. Right. That's the Force fully refueled. Let's get round to the warehouse. I believe daylight's wasting already, but it is, it seems. I suppose especially because I've been in the shadow of the mountain on this side, daylight's even less of a duration than normal. Now that route through those rocks actually wasn't that bad. But I've been prepared for it and got the line a bit better, that probably would have been alright, but I'll play it safe and come around this way. I think I'll put these 2 wooden planks on the trailer with the 2 concrete blocks out of this warehouse. And then I'll only have to do the bit into the house for the other 2 wooden planks with the truck on its own. Leave the trailer on the trail. I think that'll be easier. Then apart from small pipes, I think then there's only going to be another 6 slots of mixed wooden planks and blocks to deliver. Which almost makes it feel like I could finish Reinvigorating the Mind next episode. Extravagant claim, isn't it? Drop the trailer. Unpack my cargo before I forget. Then yeah, so we got cargo, concrete blocks, 2 left. The yard lights has just come on. It suddenly got brighter. Is the yard lights here? Right. Restore the crane. Attach. Pack. Let's get gone. And then we're going to go and get 2 more wooden planks from the house that's basically up there, the top of that cliff. And I am going to leave the trailer out there. Because I don't know what the maneuvering space up here is like, but I'm going to assume it's a fairly tight space. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to be turning that trailer around up here. So that was the right call, I think. Oh, it took a little bit longer. Last one. How's it gone? Got the crane, pack the cargo. Go and get a trailer, get it delivered. That would be pretty amazing progress, to be honest. I was a bit worried about the length of the episode, but that hasn't taken as long as I expected, so I don't think the time lapse will be too heavy. I mostly time lapse out the bits where I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I don't think to talk. So usually a lot of the time lapse sections are just where it would otherwise be too quiet. Sometimes get in the zone a little bit too much to narrate what I'm doing. Too far away, rolled back a bit too far. Should do it. And they're all packed. Let's go. I'm going to start off in low with a diff lock. to maneuver this corner. We're into high now. So this bit is definitely gnarly and worth probably going around the road from the warehouse. But I think this is only the second time I've been around this route with a trailer on. Perhaps I should have left the trailer at the warehouse, gone and got the wooden planks, connected it, and gone around the road. Longer but easier. But from here on up, once you get around this corner, I think this route's quite easy. Camera in the trees then, that wasn't very good. The camera is out as far as it will go, unless I put it on the trailer. I don't know whether that gives better view or not, because it's darker. This YouTube content creation malarkey, it's all about experiments, right? I try things out. Sometimes I get a good reaction in comments, sometimes they don't. You guys are pretty good at giving me feedback, always constructive, thank you for that. Even if you don't agree with something I've done, it always, yeah, I don't really get hostile comments, so I'm really appreciative of that. But yeah, I don't know what's going to work until I try it. Something that might seem like a good idea in my head, I try it and I get some incredulous reactions. Why on earth would you do that? Do it this way, it's easier. And then I learn from that. Sometimes I hit on something that's works for me. Sometimes I'll do something that works for me, doesn't work for others. But one thing you definitely know is you can't please everybody, right? So I can make a choice of a truck, and some people think it's a bad choice, some people think it's a great choice. I can make a choice of tyres based on one suggestion, and then somebody else is like, why would you do that? Those types of things happen in any walk of life, right? You can't please everybody all the time, and it's far too exhausting to try. So I try to make sensible decisions. I try to listen to comments and learn from them. I do read every comment and every piece of advice. And if I don't take a particular piece of advice, it's because that might not work for my playstyle. Not that I don't respect the opinion, it just might not work for me. But yeah, overall, it's a very, very positive experience, and in general, I try to experiment and change things up and see what works for people, see what doesn't. This has ended up being a slightly longer recording than I really hoped to do, but at the same time, it's shorter than some that I've done. It just means that it takes a little bit longer for me to edit it into something watchable. But 12 slots of cargo delivered, given where we started. Actually more than 12, isn't it? It's 14 slots of cargo because we did those 2 wooden planks right at the start when we came up without a trailer. So yeah, 14 slots of cargo delivered to this gold mine. Feels like a win to me. Do need to get a screenshot. I haven't done a screenshot yet. Give me a moment, please. Beautiful. Because it's really annoying when I forget and I have to scrabble around trying to find something that works. Right. There we go. Cargo. 4 wooden planks. And 2 concrete blocks. So we need 3 beams. 2 planks. 4 blocks. Plus the pipes. That's pretty good progress. 14 slots of cargo delivered for this contract, given how last episode went and where we started this one. Over almost out of fuel and on the other side of the map, and we had to bring some fuel through with the Kodiak. That feels like we got quite a lot done in that amount of time. So, good session. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next episode where we will continue with this. We'll go and get beams, planks, blocks, maybe pipes. Will we finish it in one more episode? Not sure. I forgot the beams. There's quite a few. Yeah, there's probably 3 trips up the mountain needed. And generally I'm managing 2 per episode, aren't I? So maybe 1.5 episodes to finish Gold Mine if nothing goes wrong. It's a big if, isn't it? So yeah, I am happy with that. I hope you are as well. I hope to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, thank you very much and goodbye.